Hi there friends, welcome back to Mama Birds. I'm Robin if you're new, and I don't typically do much filming on the weekends, but I just went and did a little bit of a grocery shop, so I'm going to share it with you, and then we're going to get started on some garlic projects. I'm actually probably going to do that garlic project tomorrow morning, but for you it'll happen in a second. So I'm going to show you what I got at the grocery store. It's not a lot, but it is a few things that we noticed were on sale and we wanted to grab for the week. And actually I stocked up on a bit of chicken, and then I did get a large bag of potatoes, so I'll show you the haul really quick. Here is the haul. We have some bell peppers that were on sale, some mushrooms that were on sale. These I believe were $1.97, so $2 for this little container here. It was just for the chopped one or the sliced ones. Usually I get like the button size ones and then I chop them myself because I find them easier to clean, but these were what were on sale, so that's what we got. These were also $1.97 on sale. This was a 10-pound bag of potatoes. I think this was like $7.99 or $8.99 maybe for 10 pounds of potatoes, which is really good. And then this was the score of the day, some chicken. You can see it was $6.55 a kilogram. So that works out to, what is that, divide by 2.2, so $3.25 per pound. And then I got an additional $10 or 10% off or something like that at the till because I bought two or something like that. I'm not really sure exactly how much it was, but I ended up paying about $6 for each pack. And yeah, I'm really happy about that. So 4 pieces will feed our family for dinner. So this will be 2 meals for us, and this will be 2 meals for us. So that is the haul. When I buy value packs or like family packs of chicken, I always break them down and I always repackage them. Today I'm going to use Ziplocs. Often I will use vacuum seal bags because they just last a little bit longer, but we are going to eat through this relatively quickly. So I'm just going to use 4 of the Ziploc bags. And what I will do is just write on them thighs by 4 on each one. The next step that I do is making sure that all of the bags are open. So I didn't have to worry about that. Now getting into the chicken, like I said, this is gonna feed my family twice for a meal. So I'm gonna put 4 of these pieces into each bag. So I just have a glove on because it just makes for easier cleanup. And when you're packaging in Ziplocs, I always roll over the bag twice. And the reason for that is because now anything that touches this rim space is going into the bag, and it's not going to be on the outside of the bag when I package it. So I always roll it twice. We're going to get into this package. Just like that. So there's 4 in there. Now all of this will go into the garbage along with my glove. At this point with the chicken, you could absolutely put some marinade like right into the bag and freeze them with the marinade in them inside the bag already. That would be beautiful. I'm just doing them plain today just because, like I said, I'm just in a hurry. So I'm just going to get them in the bags, get as much air out as I can, and then put them in the freezer. I am pushing them flat so that the chicken pieces aren't double stacked, because if you put your meat in a bag like this and then put it in the freezer, it will take forever to thaw. So if you have as much of one layer as possible, that makes for easy defrosting. So that's a tip or a trick that I've learned. Here we go. 4 dinners. I'm actually going to slice up all of these bell peppers as well, and I'm going to put them into this container. We've been doing a lot of like fresh veggies for dinners and stuff, and chopping them just seems to be the easiest way for me to make sure that we have a veggie. I don't know why I cut it like that. That's totally not how I usually cut bell peppers. I've decided to slice up all of, oh my gosh, I forgot the sticker, of these bell peppers. I thought I got it, but apparently didn't. I've decided to cut up all of the bell peppers just because it'll make it a little bit easier for me for prepping dinners and snacks and stuff. So I'm just going to get as much as I can into this container, and then the rest we'll have for dinner. But I just wanted to show you a fun way that I learned to cut bell peppers. So you're getting all of the pepper. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this relatively close to the edge. So cut the top right off. And then on each, so there's 1, 2, 3, I'm just gonna bend them in. And you get all of the bell pepper. And I just quart out those 3 seams. Pull that out. And now you can cut this however you want. This is also the best way I found to do stuffed bell peppers. So if you're into doing that, that is the best way. So I'll just show you one more time with this bell pepper. So along on this edge, you want to cut it as close as possible. And sometimes it comes off perfectly just like that. That's really what I want. Because then I just go in where my seams are. And all of that just comes right out. This we will store in the fridge for meal prep and just for snacks, and this we will incorporate into our dinner. So now we're going to shoot over to our garlic, and like I said, that's not today, but for you it's going to happen in 3, 2, 1. This is actually taking you back at least a day or two previous, but just showing you how I peel my garlic. I literally get a bowl on the couch and put all the peels into one, and then all of the beautiful cloves into another. You can't actually see the other bowl, but this is what I do. I throw on something that I like to watch and peel my garlic, and it just keeps my hands busy and it makes me feel good because I'm actually accomplishing something. But I always do this at least a day or two in advance so I can get lots of it done. As you can see, I've got 2 full bowls there, and I'm just going through and picking out cloves like this one that are a little bit damaged or have spoiled marks on them, any sort of brown spots, or even some of the ends I end up cutting off on these. And I just chuck them right into the food processor. This is a process. It is a labor of love, and it takes a long time to get all of the garlic peeled. So when I do it in a larger volume. This is definitely closer to 6 months or so worth of what we use in garlic each day. And as you can see, the canister is getting fuller and fuller and fuller. But basically what I started doing was I was taking out handfuls at a time and just throwing the cloves on the counter that needed to be tended to, and then just chucking handfuls in at a time rather than one at a time of the cloves. It just ended up being easier. I think next time that I do this, I'm actually going to grab a 3rd bowl when I'm peeling the garlic, and anything that does have a blemish, I'm going to put into a separate bowl so that I can make sure that I take care of those right away. Maybe just use those up right away, or just separate them from the rest of the cloves that are beautiful and wonderful and ready to just go straight into the food processor. This food processor is part of the Ninja Kitchen Deluxe system. It comes with a blender and a bullet, and it has been such a wonderful investment. I've now used it a couple of times as a blender to make smoothies in that, and this is the first time in action live that I've used the actual mixer or the food processor, and it worked brilliantly. The chop function, I just hit play and it actually chopped in cycles. So it would, spin a couple times, then it would stop, and then it would spin a couple times, and then it would stop. And I think the stopping was the key, because it would just let all of the food rest for a second, and then it would chop again. You can kind of see it in the top of the canister there, how it's going up and down and up and down. And that's because the blades are actually stopping. Now in this canister, I do have some oil. I did put a bit of grapeseed oil just to kind of get the garlic to hold together. And this is why. And it's because I use an ice cream scoop or a muffin scoop, whatever you want to call it. And I scoop out chunks into this sort of rounded shape onto a cookie sheet with some parchment paper. And I freeze the garlic just like this on the tray directly into my freezer. So I don't do anything else, realistically, anything else with this garlic. This is pretty much the final product. We are going to put all of these balls into Ziploc bags. You could definitely vacuum seal them once they're frozen. But this is probably around 5 months or so. I would say 4 to 6 months worth of garlic, depending on what I'm doing. You just have to simply take one of these balls out of the freezer and throw it into a mason jar or into a bowl. If you have a bowl with a lid, that works perfectly fine. And just slightly cover it, not quite covering, but mostly covering what is in that jar with oil, and then pop it in your fridge, and it will last for as far as you'll get to use it. We always use it before it turns, sometimes garlic can go green if you've left it in the fridge for too long, but we have never experienced that because we just go through so much of it at a time. I can't wait to be in a position where I am able to actually grow my own garlic again and have a garden and be able to preserve all of the vegetables and herbs and things that I've grown myself. But right now I am not in that position, and that's okay because I am able to get what we do need from the store, and I can put it up just as easily. This is just a fantastic way to have garlic pre-made and ready in your fridge. And it's definitely helpful to do it in a larger volume because it is a messy job, and chopping garlic and cutting garlic is just not my favorite. It does smell, and it does tend to, create odor on everything that it touches. So being able to do it like this has just been super helpful with my life. I think that's really one of the takeaways as a mom, is finding things that are a constant in your life, whether it be a cooking thing or a work thing or a chores thing, something that's always happening in your life, and finding ways to make it slightly simpler, or I don't even know if that's words, but just more user-friendly in general. And for me, this is a way to do it. And I enjoy cooking. I like making things from scratch. Something like this makes me happy. I enjoy doing it. So this is an easy way for me to incorporate something that I very much enjoy into our everyday life without the extra hassle and the extra work that it takes to make things homemade. So if you have something that is a constant in your life that is maybe creating a burden, but you want to keep it in your life, maybe it's a way for you to find a solution to incorporate some sort of, smaller task or larger task if necessary, once or twice every once in a while, rather than doing it every day. And then you're able to incorporate that thing into your life. And I would love to help you with that. So if you have a suggestion or a issue or a, something that's going on in your life that you need help simplifying, please let me know. Please reach out. I would love to be able to help you. And find a solution so that your life as a mama doesn't have to be so stressful and so complicated, but you can still enjoy that thing in your life. So let me know, and I would love to be able to help you. So thanks for checking out the video today. That is the 2 ways that I typically use my garlic, is either frozen and chuck it right into the recipe that I'm making, or I put it in the mason jar with a bit more oil, and then it stays in the fridge and I can use it as I want to. So I don't always, those large balls usually last us not quite a week. So each ball, I would say, was probably like 6 or 7 cloves of garlic, just for a measurement. And it usually takes out about half of a jam-sized jar. So the garlic that I scraped out of the food processor will only last a couple more days, but that's fine. And we will work through the rest of the garlic that I have in the freezer. That's another application that how I store my garlic is I vacuum seal the garlic in individual packages, and then I pull the frozen cloves of garlic out of the fridge to use in a recipe. I just chop them up and use them as you like regularly would. You literally only have to put them on the counter for like maybe 5 minutes and they will totally be able to chop them. You can run them under a bit of warm water and it'll make it faster, but you could totally use it just like that. This is my favorite way though, because it's already chopped, it's already ready to go, and just super convenient for me to be able to use garlic, and we really enjoy garlic. Thanks so much for watching and tuning in. I have dinner cooking on the stove. We're gonna have a beef sort of stroganoff style meal with some of the ground beef from the half cow we purchased. I can link that video for you if you're interested in watching how I did that. We're gonna do some cleaning tomorrow, so stick around for that if you're interested. Consider subscribing if you're into homemaking or any sort of cooking, food preservation, mom life, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. So thanks so much again for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.